Let me say good morning, and Charlie, let me thank you. Let me thank you. Let me thank Wells from the very beginning for what's happening here today. The $20 million to the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity aligns very well with the fund. And I certainly want to acknowledge Thomas Jones as president and all of the board members who are here today. And I know Thomas is going to be recognizing, but let me just ask the board members to stand up anyway. And I know Thomas will recognize everybody. And Charlie, I like the fact when you said it's not just about the contribution that's been made today, but the long-term relationship as we move forward. And I know this is your first time as the CEO of Wells Fargo being in the city of Houston. So what a terrific time to come and what a terrific gift to give. So thank you so very much. Wells Fargo investment will significantly benefit businesses of color, many of whom are located in our underserved communities. And I also want to thank Wells Fargo for providing pathways to financial health and a sustainable low-carbon environment, which is something that we also believe in very strongly. And when it comes to small business growth, specifically in communities of color, Wells Fargo focuses on providing networks of support to strengthen these businesses and help create local jobs. And let me tell you, you have a strong team here in the city of Houston. I'm quite familiar with people like R.C., who's been very helpful. I see Jeff Powell in the room and Desiree Morgan that's in the room. So many from Wells Fargo that we've worked with, that I've worked with over the years. When we announced the Houston Equity Fund last May, our initial fundraising goal was $25 million to accelerate meaningful change among those who are under-resourced and overlooked. This generous gift by Wells Fargo will enact meaningful change and help sustain our city's diverse small businesses that play a vital role in driving long-term economic growth and innovation while allowing our communities to thrive. We've been working on a concept or strategy called Complete Communities. I see Councilmember Tasha Jackson that's also in the room. She represents one of those communities that have been underserved and under-resourced. And the gift, the investment that's being provided here will benefit not just her district, but so many others throughout our city. After all, small businesses have a big impact. For many communities throughout our city, these small businesses are their lifeline and what makes their area special and very unique. They also foster local economies, create jobs, and keep money local, which in turn supports our neighborhoods and our communities. And many of these communities, Charlie, that we are talking about, if you go throughout the city of Houston, you may not see financial institutions like a Wells Fargo in those institutions. But the investment that's being made here through the Houston Social Justice and Economic Fund will benefit organizations and businesses that reside in these communities, that provide jobs to the people in this community. So the number may be 20 million, but the overall impact will be much more. Nearly 97% of businesses in our region have fewer than 500 employees, the standard to be considered a small business. And these collectively employ 44% of the region's workforce, or 1.2 million employees. And what's more, nearly 35% of Houston area small businesses with 50 or fewer employees are minority-owned, and this region ranks 5th in the nation for minority entrepreneurship. Many of our existing small businesses have been hit the hardest by the economic impact of the pandemic. Between February and April of 2020, the number of active Black-owned businesses declined by 41%. Latinx-owned businesses declined by 32%, and Asian-owned businesses dropped by 25%, versus just 21% for the general U.S. population. If this doesn't demonstrate the need for support and the magnitude and significance of this investment, then I don't know what does. We as a city have worked hard to support our small businesses and communities with several initiatives, including the City of Houston Small Business Economic Relief Program. Using $35 million in CARES Act funding, this program provided almost 1,100 businesses with grant funds ranging from $50,000 to sustain their operations. Nearly 40% of grant recipients were located in low to moderate income areas. Nearly 80% of grant awardees were identified as African American, Asian, or Latinx. This program showed that our communities of color remain in much need of assistance. But one thing I can tell you as mayor, the City of Houston, the municipality, cannot do it alone. And unless we have meaningful partners willing to step up and partner with us, the need will continue to exist. My administration also has an office dedicated to cultivating a diverse economic environment. I see Gwen Tillison, who is here in our Economic Development section, Shannon Buggs, who directs our Complete Communities. We also place special emphasis on providing business development programs for entrepreneurs in all stages of business. But as the fourth largest city in the country and the most diverse, there is still a need to do more. And that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to stand with Wells Fargo today, recognizing that through partnership, we can meet a greater need. Lastly, Wells Fargo's generous $20 million donation will help build upon our efforts and provide powerful support to Houston's diverse small business owners. These grants, working through the Houston Social Justice and Economic Equity Fund, these grants have the potential to keep the dream of business ownership alive and well in our city. We understand that no single organization can rectify historic and systemic inequities overnight, but we are committed to taking tangible actions that can drive long-term impact and change, and it starts right here and right now. And lastly, Charlie, as I indicated to you before, we have asked other financial institutions to step up and make meaningful and impactful investments in our community. But there always has to be the first, to show others the way. No one can solve all of these problems, but there has to be a strong, impactful institution that's willing to say we recognize, we're willing to change the paradigm just a little, and we're willing to partner with an organization like the Houston Social Justice and Economic Equity Fund and align its mission with that of the city. And by being the first, I believe you're paving the way for others to follow. At least that is my hope. And so now so if you'll join me in thanking Charlie and Wells Fargo one more time.